I'm 92 years old, and I don't have much patience left for pretending I understood life while I was living it. Most days are quiet now, too quiet. And in that quiet, the past has a way of speaking louder than it ever did when I was busy. I'm not telling this because I want sympathy. I'm telling it because I'm near the end, and there are things I finally see clearly. Things I wish I had understood when my body was still strong and my calendar still felt open. I wake up earlier than I need to. Sleep doesn't hold me the way it used to. I sit on the edge of the bed and listen to the house settle. Sometimes I forget what day it is. Sometimes I remember everything at once. The remembering is harder. At this age, people assume you're full of wisdom. The truth is, wisdom doesn't arrive all at once. It drips in slowly, usually after it's too late to use it well. If I could speak to myself in my 50s or 60s, I wouldn't give advice the way people like to give it now. I'd just tell the truth. The quiet, disappointing, ordinary truth. There are 10 things I learned too late. None of them are impressive. All of them cost me more than I expected. The first thing is this: I thought I had more time than I did. Not in a dramatic way. I didn't think I was immortal. I just assumed the future would keep stretching forward the way it always had. Next year felt guaranteed. 5 years felt reasonable. Old age felt far away, even when it wasn't. In my 50s, time felt elastic. I postponed things without noticing I was postponing my life. Calls went unanswered. Visits got delayed. Promises were softened with soon. Soon is a dangerous word. It sounds responsible. It sounds calm. But soon is how decades disappear. The second thing I learned is that being busy felt like being necessary, but it wasn't the same thing. I worked hard. I showed up. People depended on me. Or at least I thought they did. My days were full of tasks and obligations, and that made me feel useful. But usefulness isn't the same as being present. I'd come home tired and quiet. I'd sit at the table and half listen. I told myself I deserved rest. I told myself tomorrow would be better. Tomorrow kept moving. The third thing is that relationships don't break loudly. They thin out. There was no single argument, no slammed door, just less eye contact, shorter conversations, fewer shared details. I didn't notice the drift while it was happening. Drift feels gentle. It doesn't hurt until you realize how far you are from where you started. By the time I noticed, the closeness had already become politeness. The fourth thing I learned is that I confused responsibility with love. I provided, I fixed problems, I kept things running. I thought that was enough. But love isn't proven by endurance alone. It needs warmth. It needs attention. It needs words spoken out loud, even when they feel awkward. I thought people understood how I felt without me saying it. They didn't. Now I know they didn't. The fifth thing is that I believe success would eventually make the sacrifices worth it. I told myself I was building something, a stable life, a respectable one, something that would stand. And it did, for a while. But when the work was done, when the titles faded and the routines ended, there wasn't much underneath. The success didn't hold me at night. It didn't sit beside me when the house got quiet. I don't regret working. I regret what I traded for it, without realizing I was trading at all. The sixth thing I learned is that I avoided difficult conversations because I thought they could wait. I didn't want to upset anyone. I didn't want to make things uncomfortable. So I stayed silent. Silence feels kind in the moment. Later it feels like absence. There are things I never said that I still rehearse in my head. Apologies that would have mattered. Gratitude that should have been spoken. Truths that would have hurt briefly, but healed slowly. Now they live only with me. The seventh thing is that my body didn't fail suddenly. It negotiated its exit over years. In my 60s, I ignored small signals. a little stiffness, a little fatigue. I told myself it was normal. I told myself I'd take care of it later. Later arrived with limits. You don't notice the last time you lift something heavy, or walk without thinking, or move without planning. One day, you just can't, and no one tells you the day before. The eighth thing I learned is that being admired is not the same as being known. People respected me, some even looked up to me, but very few really knew me. I didn't let them. I kept my doubts private. I kept my fears tucked away. I thought vulnerability was indulgent. I thought strength meant containment. Now I see how lonely that kind of strength is. The ninth thing is that I underestimated how quiet old age can be. Not peaceful, quiet. Friends disappear one by one. Some move away. Some get sick. Some die. The phone stops ringing as often. You begin to realize that if you don't reach out, days can pass without anyone saying your name. I used to crave quiet. Now I understand the difference between quiet and absence. The turning point for me wasn't dramatic. It rarely is. It was a funeral. I stood in the back of a small room, holding a folded program, listening to people share stories about someone they loved, stories I didn't know, moments I hadn't been part of. I realized then how much of life happens without us when we're distracted. Driving home, I couldn't remember when I'd last laughed freely. Not politely, freely. That's when the weight of it settled in. Not panic, just clarity. Some things were already gone. What can't be fixed is what hurts the most to name. I can't go back and be more patient with people who needed me. I can't reopen doors that closed quietly. I can't return to moments I treated as ordinary that turned out to be final. I can't reclaim the years I spent waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Life doesn't pause for it. If you're listening to this and you're younger than me, I won't tell you what to do. I don't believe in that. I'll just tell you what I wish I had known. I wish I had known that no one keeps score the way you think they do. I wish I had known that most people just want your attention, not your excellence. I wish I had known that saying how you feel is rarely as damaging as not saying it at all. I wish I had known that the small moments are not practice. They are the thing. I wish I had known that being tired is not a reason to disappear. I wish I had known that time doesn't announce itself when it's running out. I wish I had known that love doesn't stay strong on intention alone. I wish I had known that one day you will miss people you assumed would always be there. I don't have many years left. I feel that in my bones now. I don't fear it the way I once did. I just notice it. I take longer with things. I speak more slowly. I sit with memories instead of rushing past them. There is gratitude here. I don't want to pretend otherwise. I lived a full life by many standards. I saw beautiful things. I knew love, even if imperfectly. But there is sorrow mixed into that gratitude, quiet sorrow, the kind that doesn't ask for attention. If this meant something to you, sit with it for a moment. You don't have to change your life. Just notice it. That's what I failed to do for too long. And now, noticing is all I have left.